Barry Switzer, the king of Oklahoma football coaching, or at least that's what some people call him, said what about the Oklahoma Sooners moving to the SEC? Before we talk about it, go ahead, jump in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on the King's comments about the Oklahoma Sooners. Additionally, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bells because we're constantly bringing you guys great college football content. So, in an interview with the Tulsa World, Barry Switzer told the Tulsa World, I know what it'll look like. It'll look like we're playing Texas every bleeping year or week. You've got to be good. I don't know if we're good enough right now. We'll have to get better on defense. Now, part of this I agree with, part of it I don't. And let's talk about what last year looked like. Well, the team finished 6-7. That was not an ideal start for the Brent Venables era because you had your first losing season since 1998. This is not the standard that Oklahoma fans and this Oklahoma program is used to. We got blown out by Texas, 49-0. You can argue we got blown out by TCU. You played really close with Kansas at home. Nothing about this season, in terms of the final scores of these games, made you feel good. And ultimately, you bring in Brent Venables, a guy that is known for his defense, and you were ranked 122nd nationally in defense that year. Now, I don't think that's going to be the standard for what Brent Venables is going to be doing in Oklahoma. That's not what I'm saying. Just saying, the King's right. It's not the standards of Oklahoma. And if you look back at last season, it might give some people concerns. I agree with that. But listen, I don't think there is really any reason to truly be concerned because it was just one season. And it was a season where you had to strip the team down to its studs and completely rebuild. And so again, Switzer stated that on that side of the ball, OU has to recruit and develop athletes who look like Georgia and Alabama's. It's going to be hard to do, Switzer said. I'm concerned. I want someone to raise their hand in a couple of years and say, I'm the one who took us to the SEC. I don't know who made that decision, how it was made, or who was involved. Let me tell you this. Your coach doesn't really need to be involved because the SEC move is not just for football. It's not. So guess what? Your head coach should not be involved there. It's going to be between the president, the athletic director, I would assume probably around a board of directors, and they're the ones making this decision. But guess what? It's primarily in football that brings in all the revenue. You've heard football fans complain about how terrible the schedules are every single year because Oklahoma's playing the Big 12 teams. And if you don't have Oklahoma State on the schedule, your tickets that you're paying $550 for without seat donations, because the seat donations range from like $100 to I think I've seen them as high as like 25 grand. You can't expect people to pay that kind of money for tickets and have a lackluster schedule and not really any marquee games. So I'm sure that probably had some impact on it. And then you look at all the other sports. Yeah, you're moving to probably a lesser basketball conference. But outside of that, in every other sport, the SEC is pretty well dominant in. And the SEC generates a lot of revenue for these schools. So I don't think you really needed to take it up with Lincoln Riley about it. Because obviously he wasn't a fan of it anyways because he left. And that's kind of where we're going to transition with this. Barry Switzer in this interview even went as far to back up the actions of Lincoln Riley leaving for USC by saying, people say that they don't like the way Riley left. How did you want him to leave? Switzer said. You want him to call the team together? Hey, guys, I'm quitting here after this Oklahoma State game. But let's go out there and let's play hard. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. He said you can't do that. And I get it. Lincoln Riley didn't owe any players an explanation. He didn't owe the players I'm leaving before that game. But here's what he didn't need. Lincoln Riley had no right to leave Oklahoma and go to USC and poach Oklahoma's team. Because that's what he did. He could have told Caleb Williams, you can transfer out of Oklahoma, but you're not coming to USC. He could have said that to Mario Williams and Latrell McCutcheon. Lincoln Riley could have taken the job at USC and gave Oklahoma a grace period and finished the job that he was hired to do instead of leaving Oklahoma high and dry. And you're saying, well, that's unrealistic. Venables did it. He did. He helped Dabo wrap things up. He came to Oklahoma. He didn't poach players. You had one guy out of that recruiting class that refused to go to Clemson. He was even willing to come to Oklahoma as a walk-on. And Venables said, all right, but you're going to have to earn your spot. Well, guess what? That guy didn't play very much last year. So there's things that I agree with Barry Switzer here. The team does have to get better. I think it will get better. I think when it comes to the recruiting, you're going to see Todd Bates and Brent Venables and all of these guys be the elite recruiters that they were. And Oklahoma's currently up 79-65 against Kansas State in the basketball game. Congratulations to these boys. Looks like they're going to get a win. A big win that they needed, potentially, to go out there and make a run at the tournament. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be any concern that they're not going to go out there and not recruit well. You're already hearing of players putting Oklahoma in their top schools list. Specifically, one in the 450, Jaden Hardy. He's got 3 schools narrowed down: OU, Texas, and Texas A&M. SEC schools. The reason why OU and Texas are in that conversation is because Jaden Hardy knows the direction of these 2 programs. So I'm not worried about the recruiting. The recruiting will come. And if you're a fan and you're worried about the recruiting, then you might need to calm down. Because Venables and the staff, they know what they're doing. They're going to be able to fix it. But when Switzer talks about Riley, I don't agree. The way Riley left was inexcusable. And it should not be apologized for. Now, it's time for Oklahoma fans to move on from Lincoln Riley. It's time for us to focus on the present, not the past. And yeah, you know what? We lost some great years in there, but it's okay. Those past years are going to make us stronger as a program and as a fan base. So go ahead and jump down in the comments below and let me know what y'all thought about the Kings' comments on the Oklahoma Sooners going to the SEC. Additionally, what do you guys think the Sooners are going to do in